Hey, what's going on, guys out there? It's going to be Donnie coming to you from Osaka, Japan solo today. Had a few guests I was trying to wrangle up, but timing and everything is still off again with all this pandemic crap that I'll get into a little later and touch on and kind of be done with it on my end. It's July 24th, Friday here. And like I told you guys out there, I want to at least get with you guys at least once a week, even if it's for 20, 30 minutes to get a podcast in. That way the guys who are subscribing got some content to watch. And for me personally, like I said, I watch a lot of podcasts. Don't really watch my own too much no more because I don't really watch them back too much like I used to. So I kind of like do them and then put them out there. And most guys in the beginning, when you first start the podcast, you're kind of critical of yourself, but you guys out there will point back on things and stuff like that and say, maybe do this and do that. And if I want to implement it, I will do that. So one thing I'm going to do, I always tell you guys out there, I want to shoot from the hip and do my podcast that way. I don't want to do I don't want to have like a majorly scripted type of thing because it just gets like draining. I don't have the time for that. I want to be able to come in here and shoot and press record and do what I got to do. So I do that. So one thing I have done to kind of keep me on topic and stop rambling while I was in the store the other day, picked up this little cool stencil pad, which is like electronic pad. If I press that, I actually move my finger because if I press that white button right there, it'll erase everything I wrote on there. So it's like a etching sketch. It has like a cool like little color, changes like colors and everything. So I'll be using this to keep myself on track. And also when I got my guest on, instead of like when you talk to people and you have a relating topic, the one thing you see from the good podcasts out there is they let the guy speak and then they weigh in or however the conversation is going to go. Because with a podcast, conversation can go 1,000 different ways, and you got to kind of be you can't be like a cat with a laser and you'd be all over the place. So sometimes some things won't be able to discuss because of time constraints and everything, and also whatever the person is saying doesn't mesh with what you want to say. So I got this also to write my ideas down. That way I can kind of look at them and give myself a mental reminder and bring them back up and everything. So anyway, just getting right into it. One thing I want to get out there right away, man, is I see it a lot. I've been good about not doing it myself, and I haven't put like any things up there. One thing is, the pandemic and all stuff is going on. Everybody knows that. We're now into July, going to roll into August. The summer's been obliterated. Pretty much any of your plans that people mostly had have been affected somehow. My business tempo hasn't stopped. I mean, I've had customers. I've had a lot of cancels, and I've had some inconsiderate people within this time frame who I don't bring it up, but you should know that parts are going to be slow. Like we can't help that and everything. So my thing on it is, again, this pandemic has exposed many things about how things are going, how people run their business, how things are run, governed, and things like that. And it's exposed how shitty things are. And it exposed also people out there who are running businesses who are very undisciplined. And right now, this time frame shows who's disciplined and who's not. Again, I'm not raking in tons of cash, but actually I've made more money during this pandemic, believe it or not. I've made enough to stay open and everything. I'm not rolling in dough. Not yet. Will be, eventually it'll get there, stay true, stay honest, and things will come, so I can pay back my business partners and things like that and do what I got to do and move forward. And that's the real reason why you guys out there haven't seen like me doing a lot of my own stuff, because I can't in good conscience, again, build my cars and I owe people money, and I'm not going to do that. And also I just don't have time. I got about 3 or 4 cars on there. They got parts like in the shop for it. I just don't got time to get to it because it's like you don't want to rush things and do a half-ass job on it and take it to the next level. But one thing, for the guys out there, customer-wise, understand the pandemic is going on. Legit companies out there are issuing their warnings and issuing whatever the things are going to be late. For example, Haltech, legit company. I got with them. They're missing items to build their CAN cables, but they still got the ECUs and things like that. So we got with them. Hey, send the ECU out. I'll get the CAN cable label. I don't need that right now. So those guys are legit, but a lot of shitbag companies out there using this pandemic as an excuse to be slow. They're already slow anyway. They're already organized when things are normal. So now when things are crazy, they're really showing their true colors. And one thing, again, my thing has been pretty smooth, man. And again, it goes back again to me standing my ground always. Customers, put them in their place, checking them when they need to be checked. I had a guy recently that came in here customers always right. And within reason, your customer is right when the business is wrong. If the business is on task and right, the customer's not always right. And I don't play that game. I check a lot of guys at the door and thing with their attitudes and different things like that, and I don't believe the adage the customer is always right. I just don't. And if I lose some followers and subscribers over there, over that statement, so be it. It's not my problem. I know how I run my business. I know how much time I put into my day and things like that. And some things, customers out there, man, again, I kind of bring it up a bunch. Customers out there, you got to do your part too. You can't, if a guy's putting out some knowledge and everything, you got to listen to it, what he's saying, not like, yeah, blah, 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 and do your own fucking thing. Because again, like I told guys before, it takes a good customer, it takes a good business. Together, you got a good product. If the business is on task and the customer's off task, shit product. If the customer's on task and the business is off task, shit product. So everybody got to be on the same page. My guy Chris, my reason I brought this up is because my guy Chris, who I had on the board, he posted up, blah blah blah. March was understandable. Rolling into April was getting annoying, and then frustrating and things like that. And maybe people don't got to pay stuff and everything. Everybody got to pay bills, and some people have been put off. I haven't got zero assistance money from Japan, America, or anything. America thing is on my part because I didn't file my taxes, even though I'm exempt. So I just got to file for exempt. I need to get on that actually this week. Next week, because now it's Friday. I need to file my taxes. That way, maybe I'll get the $1,200, but I ain't see none of that money. Japan issued a $20,000 bailout, and I didn't get none of that, man. I didn't get a dime because what happened is they base it off your last year earnings based on this year earnings, and if you lost money, so if I would have made a ton of more money last year, and then the money went down this year, I would get the money. But since last year was down and then this year is going up, and then new business is going to go up, down the market. The shipping, like I say, my shipping stopped. So I got all those cars in last year for shipping, and then bam, I didn't get no cars this year for shipping. So that money went up. So but at the same time, I could have fudged my numbers, and then the people who did fudge the numbers are going to pay for it a little bit down the line, because when they go to do taxes, now you got to fudge all those receipts. Now you got to hide things. Then you got to go to your bank and try to match your bank earnings with your receipts. I don't want to get into all that stuff. Yeah, I'll miss the money, but I'll grind like I always do and make it happen. I didn't cry about it. When they say no, I was like, all right, cool, on to the next. One thing, you're sitting around crying about shit, you're not getting things done. So sitting around arguing with somebody for no reason other than past proving your point, pointless. Sitting around crying about something you can't control, pointless. You're just wasting time. Just, all right, cool, bam, can't get it. All right, thanks, shit, can leave. And that's what I did. My tax advisor, not my tax advisor, my tax counselor. We're going to change them up because they're not good. My tax advisor stopped by, and he was like, oh, congratulations, you did more better business this year and everything. I'm like, yeah, cool, blah, blah, blah. And it was like, all right, all these other guys, you just started out, you got the money. If you were making a ton of money, like a bigger shop, but more customers, then you lost money, you get the money. So it just kind of sucked and everything. And I had to, make things happen and everything. I had my goals set on what I wanted to do. So it is what it is. But, as far as Pinku style is still continuing. Now with Pinku style, can't control is other companies. So again, when we go to order parts, I have no control over that. Everything within my realm, I control, and everything is smooth. My shipping is still going. Things like that is processing, things like that. So we're still, I'm still good over here. There's no we. I got an assistant, but again, he's not my staff. I don't pay him, so I don't do that. When people are like, you guys, I always correct you guys out there when you mail me. There's no you guys here. There's me running the whole operation. My wife assists, but she's not working here either. So it's just me here. And so I have staff that's actually being paid. That's when I'll say we or this, that, and the other. There's no we here in my Pinku style. Everything you see from the videos to the whatever, that's all this guy right here. It's all me. All the emails, all of the social media, all of the web page, the everything you see that's associated with Pinku style comes from me. Everything. I like it because it gets done. Until I can find somebody who's on my same level of mechanical ability somewhat, or they got a good work drive or the ability to learn, I'll hire them. But at this point, I'll stay by myself because I ain't got time or I ain't got the money to be fucking up, to be paying for people fuck ups. That's not what I want to do, and I don't want to go backwards. I mean, I don't make many mistakes. Things happen here and there in the motorsports thing, and when you're doing aftermarket parts, I'll account for that. But I'm not accounting for anything I don't have control over, or I don't have. That's not my thing. So just moving on from that. That's my spill on the pandemic thing. I gave that about. Give it about 10 minutes, so let me move on here. So moving along on my little thing right here, I'm gonna check this off. So that's done right there. FD Japan seems like they're going to be they're genning up right now, and D1GP is down in Okibuki or something like that, somewhere down south. D1GP, I've seen that because my guy Masanori Kohashi, my local driver MSP, one of my guys, he's posted up and everything. So D1GP's kicked off. I don't know the stipulations on what they're going to do as far as their it's pretty spread out anyway. So maybe they'll put, if there's going to be attendance in the seats, they'll maybe have like 5 seats in between people like that to keep everything good to go. FD Japan, it looked like they had a round supposed to be on the 21st, but I think that got canceled. But I seen Foster of the those guys down at Sodex Japan, they posted up, so they got 2 cars getting ready for that. So it looked like Form Drift's going to kick off. As far as this guy right here, I got some cars I'm genning up. That's 14, and I'll get into that a little bit later. I'm not doing any pro stuff this year. I just, again, unless you got it's nice to get out those guys who got that $20,000 check. They really didn't put in their business. They put into their cars. I didn't get none of that, so I just can't take the little bit of earnings I have and a little bit of money I got coming up out of my thing and put that towards drifting right now. Like I told you guys before, I got love for drifting. I'll do it forever, but I'm not really the whole judging thing, man. I'm just not on it, man. I'd rather take my money, put that towards time attack, earn my JAF license, move up the rankings, and then enter like the Tsukuba time attacks, Fuji time attacks, and things like that, because those results are going to bring customers, because the odds are there's more normal driving and grip customers than there are drifters. Drifters don't spend money because, like I said before, being a drifter, you got to learn to do it yourself. If you're a drifter that's good and you have maintenance things and you can go to a shop, you're generally well off, and it's not many drifters are not making tons of money. It's a cheaper motorsport. The guys you see with the bigger cars have a lot of secret backing, a lot of backing from other financial institutions. They got backing from different companies that have a reason to invest in those guys. So for me, I just can't take that money out of my system, put it into drifting, and get a low end return. And you've seen many companies over the years pull out. Siki is one of the guys. They spent a lot of money. They got good results off it because LS1 is like all over D1 FD. But and again, when you're not making money as a business guy, you got to throttle back, pull back, and you got to reevaluate what's going on. And for me, it's just not worthwhile. If I got spare money to do it around, and also my mindset is changed. Drift for fun and all that stuff is great when you're doing like grassroots stuff, but when you go into competition, it's not. Everybody has a goal there. Everybody wants to win, and I'm going there with the best opportunity to win. I'm not going there with my car halfway done or a tune not right, because you're going to put yourself in a disadvantage right off the bat before you even get with other drivers. So my thing is, this year was supposed to be my return, so to speak, but I'm going to build a few cars, get those ready for next year. Again, it's already due. August already, almost. Summer is gone. It's going to be it's hot. It's a hot day today in Masawa. The reason I got the little skin tight shirt on and everything, the same one that's on my Facebook profile. But it's to me, my theory on it is why engage heavily again, unless you got spare money. Why engage heavily right now when you're going to run into November, being the end of the season, then bam, you got to get your car ready again. So that my thing is just again that's my theory. I mean, not my theory. That's what I got to do. Don't care what you want to do out there or whatever with your money, your cars. Do that. But for me, it's just not. It's pointless things to dive in deep right now. It's better for me to get ready for next year and come out stronger even next year. So even some local events, maybe some exhibition events or like some invitation events. I'll probably do those for the duration of this season, 2020. But as far as any heavy pro stuff, not getting into it. And everything right there. I mean, I might come out for. There's talks of King of Asia, not King of Asia, but Drift Kings coming over, which is a derivative of King of Europe, which was King of the desert, Queen of Italy. Anyway, you guys, you seen the thing with Mike. If not, I'll put it in links down there. But Mike came on pretty much and explained why Drift King of Europe or all that stuff like that, Drift Kings and everything, it got wrapped up into one title because it was too many different venues and too many different titles. So I might do that. Me and Mike are cool and everything. I got my license under those guys, and I might take advantage of that. Got to swallow my pride a little bit and do the whole divisional shit or whatever, or maybe they're going to have a D1 lights trials and I could do that, get my license, do that. But I really don't want to put too much stock in that personally, because I just got a lot of stuff going on. And again, that money is wasteful versus putting it towards my business, my empire, growing that. Then I'll be able to do whatever I want, in the near future. But right now, gotta stay disciplined. Again, going back to the pandemic thing right there, a lot of guys don't stay disciplined and they run into issues where they just, they want to spend for the moment and live for the moment and impress their buddies who don't give a fuck about you, your situation, your family, whatever you got to do. And I realized that and understand that. And then the thing about it, I'm not let down when people show their real colors. When I put myself forward and help people out, and then they show that they're not about it. You know what? I just stop talking to them. I make my life so easy, man, where I just get rid of people. I fire customers all the time. They don't want to act right. I get rid of, people who are so-called associates, so-called friends, because again, whatever I'm stating to you is meant from my heart. When you bullshit somebody and you got, I'm not going to sit around and vet people like that if it's not something too serious. But again, when you do certain things, you put out there how you are. I don't care what the situation is. I got a lot of stuff going on. I got a lot of bills due. I got a lot of bills late right now. Personally, I keep it real with you guys out there. But again, I still stay true to myself. Sometimes where people do things that aggravates me and I go off on them, but at the same time, they brought it on themselves. The energy you bring to people is the energy you're going to get back. The energy, if you're nice, pleasant, and everything with me, same back to you. If you want to be a dick to me, no issue at all being a dick. If you want to fight, we could fight. I got my mats up here. We could do it legally and have somebody watch or record it or whatever. Then we can get all out of there or whatever. I'll beat your ass and we can go on about your day. So, it is what it is out there. But again, everybody right now have to be careful of their energy level and the energy they putting out and everything, because everybody on this globe right now that's within regular society is going through shit right now. There's really nobody out there that's unscathed. Even if you got a ton of money, if you're a movie star, you can't shoot right now because still things are going on. So you can't make more money. You can't pile on cash. If you got this coming up, a music concert coming up, cancel. Can't have mass gatherings over 200 some people. Music concerts have thousands of people. It's canceled. So everybody, no matter what level, high or low, is being affected right now. I'm not going to get into the demographics of who people, money and stuff like that, because, people think I make a shit ton of money because they see the business and everything and stuff online. But I keep it real, man. Like, you start a business out there, stuff like that. It's going to be rough for the first 5 to 8 years, going to maybe 10 years. If you can stick it out that far, build those relationships, build those, get those things. Like, for example, I'm now doing the government check-ins for government vehicles, just in inspections. I'm not the contractor. I don't hold a contract. It's not even a subcontract, but I have my deal with the company. It doesn't, not your business what it is. It's just guys out there who want to get their cars turned by the government. In Masawa, I will do that. So, stuff like that. They came in and evaluated my business, seeing how things were, seeing how things go in my process and everything. And we had a dinner and it was like handshake, we're good to go. And, that's extra income coming in now. So that's just because I stayed the course and things like that. So, I got my VA stuff. I got some other stuff like that. So residual cash coming in, different multiple funds of sources of cash. That'll help me grow even further, do more stuff, get more stuff in here, and provide more services to the customers there. So I'm going to get off of that. And again, like I said, FD and all those guys are starting up this week. You can check that out this week. There may be some live streams, things like that. So you guys can go out there and check that stuff out for yourself. All right, so for my own builds, right now, again, only 3 builds on my plate right now that I want to get accomplished. On my personal side, again, is the Cappuccino 1J, because again, Option Magazine is waiting for me to get that done, so that's a priority. In between that, I got the S14 I picked up through Kenji Yamanaka through Rohab Khan. So I got some stuff in for that. I'm just pretty much for those stuff. I got spare parts laying around, so I got to try to Frankenstein stuff together and get that up and running. And that's just going to be a bare bones, decent practice car. Maybe I can do some comps in that car. My S13, that thing's been sitting for almost 4 or 5 years. I got one of my older engines that I got to fix a little bit and get that back up and running. And I think I'm going to, as much as I don't like the twin turbo setup, I sold my single turbo setup and everything else to buy some other stuff. So it doesn't have a turbo in it right now. It doesn't have a drive shaft. It doesn't have engine mounts. I got some other stuff in. I got to whip up for that. So because I have a few twin turbo RB20 turbos spare stuffs laying around, it's in good shape. I'm just gonna go ahead and run that for now. And then actually I drifted the twin turbo RB26 C33 or C35, and it was actually pretty damn responsive. So it's a downgrade. I'm gonna throw like 550cc injectors in there, something like that. Those turbos and a good head gasket and some studs, and then maybe 400 horsepower and call it that. A lot of guys, you shoot. Everybody's trying to go big and big and big. 400 horsepower for a guy like me is more than enough to get work done. More than enough to upset people or do whatever you got to do out there. That's a ton of power. A ton of power combined with good fundamental skills and advance. Is more than enough power, because you could do a lot with less. You could do a lot with less and everything else. So I'm gonna do those and get those up. That way later, I'm gonna get at least one of those up, the S14 or the 13 or both, and I'll have one of the two ready for King of Drift Kings if it comes over here and everything, and also maybe some D1 Street Legal Lights things and everything like that. And try to get those licensed, because I recognize how hard it is, man. It's just like if you guys out there follow UFC, and people say UFC is not designated for MMA. UFC is Ultimate Fighting Champion. MMA is mixed martial arts. So you have many different companies that do things right now. So the thing about it, you could be a champion in Bodog fighting, and they're probably not even around. It's just like just a WitchCom. I haven't heard their name in a long time. So Bodog or what? Bodog. So whatever out there. You could be a champion in Strike Force, which I think went down, or whatever. What I'm saying is, if you're not a champion in the UFC or a fighter in the UFC, even if you're on the lowest fighter on the roster, being a fighter in the UFC, being a lowest ranking fighter in UFC has more pulling weight than Bellator, believe it or not. Because people say, oh yeah, Bellator, he's a champion in top 10 or whatever, but this guy's in UFC. It's the reason why that Bellator guy's not in UFC. So even if the guy's about to get cut or whatever. So the thing, saying it to say, I respect and I'm appreciative. I had Mike Procureur on here like a little bit ago, and I said I'll link that so you guys can watch that. And they're rising and everything. But the thing about it, I'll say that I got pro license under now it's called Drift Kings. I had pro drift license, but they're like, oh, you got FD license? No, I don't have FD license. Oh, you got D1GP license? No, I don't got D1GP license. So they're like, okay, well, whatever. See you later. So it's like the hierarchy, and it's like, so my reason for getting the license is to further legitimize my business. It's like a plaque on the wall. That's all it is. You're a pro driver, blah blah blah. You can do all that stuff like that. It just legitimizes your shop. I tell guys, people are like, oh, you're a D1GP pro driver. I'm like, no, I got license under this guy. I don't lie. I'm like, I got D1 divisional license, but that's fucking nothing. I mean, that's the feeder to the feeder series. The FD divisionals feeds D1 Lights, which was D1 Street Legal. D1 Street Legal feeds D1GP. That's the hierarchy. So, and also anybody can get them. So it's like, it is what it is, man. I got my business going on and stuff like that. I know what I got on my plate right there. So you just got to do what you got to do for yourself and everything. So as far as those bills and everything, those bills get done. And even after that, I got the NSX. I got bills for days, to the point where these things are going to take years to get done, because again, until I get that flow of getting customers in here and taking care of the cash, making sure the cash is good. Now when I got a surplus of cash, I can kind of slide customers a little bit. Major jobs I'm going to take, because I want to keep the influx of cash. But maybe something small, like, hey man, you can go do this there, or we can get on the schedule later. I can put 2 or 3 days into my bills and stuff like that. Oh, speaking of bills, also the 1UZ. The 1UZ S13, which that's gonna not really a build, because that's gonna be built and sold. I need to get cash in here. I need money. So that 1UZ S13 is gonna be coming up for sale pretty shortly, after I do some tests and everything and make sure it's good to go. And that's gonna get done right there. So again, with that, you got it out there. People, oh man, your car ain't done. Your car ain't this. Like, hey man, write a fucking check or shut the fuck up. That's simple. You're not putting no money towards somebody's stuff or doing that. You have no say anywhere. That's the same thing I run my business, man. When guys come in, oh man, you should have this, or you should have that, or you should have this, and blah blah blah. Like, hey, write a check, and then it is like some little jovial or like a nervous laughter, and then they shut the fuck up and move on. Like if you're not if you're not out there, putting the cash out there and everything in somebody's pocket or whatever, you have no say there. If you're not a heavy investor, you have no say there. And I'm talking about $1,000, $5,000 doesn't make you a heavy investor. That's like a basic loan. So you get that money paid back and you move on and everything. And people show their colors with that shit too. You know what I mean? I owe some people cash, man, and it's getting to the point now where, like, I understand people need cash, and the first thing you're gonna go to cash was people who owe you, and it's like, hey man, like you're bugging me for cash. But, like, you put, like, help me get the fucking cash back and everything. And it's like, some people don't understand what they're getting into. Most investments or whatever it takes over 3 to 4 years to get things paid back. And I got to take care of that on my own. It's something that bugs me. And I don't want nobody over my head. So I've actually turned away a lot more guys coming in and do things. But I owe enough people cash right now. And I want to clear those guys out. Some of those guys I don't want to deal with anymore as far as any loan or business stuff like that. But it is what it is. You learn from it. You learn how people really are. No matter how cool they think they are, maybe 1 year, 2 years, 3 years in, they can't fake it for long. So out there, for business stuff, be careful who you invest with, who you partner with, and things like that. For me, I don't have any partners, which is great. I did this all by myself. I highly recommend going into something like that by yourself, because it's tempting to take that partner's money, but odds are that partner's not going to be there. They're going to be distracted. If you're more hungry than a partner, it's going to show right away. And don't be out there putting your cash into things and everything. Like I watched Mitto Steele's podcast last week, and he had a guy on, a really good guy. I can't recall his name right now, but it's one of his last podcast type thing. And the guy mentioned that he started a little drifting, and then he eventually, start taking his own cash, more of his own stuff, and more of his own time and putting it in there. And I experienced that with my race group. We myself, Jarvis Hall, and a few other guys, we put more of our money and time in it, and everybody else was just freeloading and getting in the video and doing things or whatever. So there's always in a group going to be one guy doing more and more and more. If you're partnering with somebody out there and then you realize you're the guy doing it, hey man, thanks for you're which comp, but I don't need you anymore. Go do your own thing, because at that point they're just freeloading and then riding on your name and everything. So don't let that happen out there. If you happen to partner with somebody because the cost is too high, just be careful about it. Really vet them and really talk to them and see where they at with things and stuff like that. Let me get a swig of water there. All right, so we're about 27 minutes again. This is not going to be a long one. It's a pretty short one. All right, so the next one, I've hit on this a few times already. The reason I want to bring it back up just to close this out is because I had a customer here yesterday pick up some tires, and this is 2020, man, and he's still saying the same stuff that guy's been saying. I've been doing this now almost 21 and a half, 22 years, man. It's crazy how time flies. But he's saying the same things, that same stuff that I used to say back in like early 2000. Because I was uneducated, and then also stuff that people were saying in like mid 2000s, like there's like no data out there. So this guy was like saying he want to get into drifting and stuff like that, and he was like, well, I don't want to do this and spin this and do that. And I was like, hey dude, actually that's pretty cheap considering. And I kind of like I could tell he's reading the wrong stuff or talking to the wrong guys and everything. And so I got two things right here I want to end on for this little segment right here. Getting started in grip racing, which is funny that again my last guy had my guy Brian on and everything, and he was like, "What's grip racing?" I was like, "It's just not drifting; it's just regular, just circuit racing." So getting started in grip racing I'm gonna bring it up because it's a cheaper one, and it's the most easy one, and you don't need much at all to do it. So say like you got a nice front wheel drive, rear wheel drive, MR, whatever kind of car you got out there. You don't want to do anything with drifting, no matter what your outlay is. You just want to drive fast and aggressively, learn things. For the guys in the States, you got autocross. So you want to go to check out SCCA, NASA, just Google autocross and MyAutoX and everything, come up with there. And then you got over here in Japan, you got a lot of circuits and everything. So for grip racing, all you need, again, these things are kind of mirror and repeat themselves. Grip racing, you just need good suspension. Stock is fine depending on the car. You just need good tires, good brakes, overall good mechanical quality as far as like your bushings, ball joints, mounts, and things like that needs to be on par. A good seat and a good harness. That's all you really need to, and all that stuff mostly comes in your car already. Most new cars come with really, really decent seats. You don't really even need that. A straight standard seatbelt will help out. You can have the harness. A lot of new seats actually come with the loops already cut out in it, so you can put a harness on it. If you didn't listen to the last episode with Alan Newsome brought up some good points about how to install your seat and everything. So, you guys got to understand, you can't have it's supposed to be straight back. It can't be like, I'll tag that in here too, so you can look up the stuff for the safety and stuff like that. But you got to make sure that you have your seat installed properly, the seat's bolted out properly. And this goes for both drifting and grip and everything. And from that point, you can actually get on the track, do your thing, and learn stuff like that. So it's a process where you're never going. I don't care how many videos you watch, how many people you talk to. You got to go out there and do it yourself. See if it's for you or not and stuff like that. But you need very minimum to get out there. I would encourage, if you haven't done it before, get with a school. Because even if you're self-taught and self-learned, you can get pretty good doing it yourself. But eventually, if you run into a vet driver or whatever like that, you can actually gain a lot more skills quicker. Get rid of a lot of bad habits quicker and things like that, and then move on and move up and everything. So definitely recommend getting with a school, doing that. For the guys in the States, I highly recommend taking advantage of autocross, because autocross is very cheap. You don't get a lot of seat time, but it's pretty cheap. And you can do like 2 or 3. You can string, if it's in the same vicinity, you can string together almost 2 or 3 in a day. And that's pretty cool, depending on how far or close they are. So that's for grip driving. You need very, very little to get done to get to it and everything. And most modern sports cars come with decent suspension, decent tire width and stuff like that, from the decent wheel widths. So you just need like some good tires. I'm a dealer for Federal, so I'm biased for those guys. But most all good tires out there right now. There's a lot of different tire tech out there, so you can try it yourself. Look at some videos on YouTube, but there's no excuse not to have good tires these days. You got very good affordable tires, different ranges, so you don't have to spend $800, $900, $600, or not $600. It's about decent, but you're not spending $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 on some tires or whatever. Those days are far gone. So that's for the grip. All right, now for drifting. Now, guys out there, for drifting, drifting is a pretty violent sport. And drifting, before you get into what you need for the car, what you're going to need for drifting is heart. Grip driving, because you're accelerating, you're stopping, you're turning, there's not much, unless it's rain. If it's dry out there, there's not much like intimidation factor. But drifting, you're doing something that's definitely, it goes against what the cars are even built for. I mean, when we drifting, you see a car drifting, like, yeah, you see it and it's like, all right, whatever, yeah, car drifting. But there's a lot of mechanics that go into getting that car sideways, keeping it sideways, and keeping it sideways looking decent and smooth. So when you see a smooth drifter, trust that behind there, the engine's working, the suspension's working, the driver's working, the seat's working, all these different things right there, because you got to keep yourself planted in front of the wheel. So for drifting, you do want to have a good seat with a harness, because you want to keep yourself in front of the wheel. I drifted many times where like you're sliding around and then like, oh, you over there, you're trying to steer, you over here, you're trying to steer and everything. So you want to get a really, really good seat, a legit seat, even if the seat's old, being that it's not SFI, FIA regulated anymore, it's still a good seat, as long as it's a real Bride or real Recaro, real whatever. I'm going to knock my guy and push my guy here, Alan Newsome at BridgeMoto. Definitely get with those guys for the seats and everything. I like them because, again, I want to support my guys and support people I come up with. I have no investments in Bride, so I'm not going to push those guys. So get with Alan Newsome. And sorry about that. Get with Alan Newsome at BridgeMoto for your seats, safety gear, and stuff like that. But again, so starting from the front to the back with a drift car, suspension, you want to have suspension, really good suspension, stock stuff you could do on some cars, but it's just not good. You want to check with reaction coilovers for that, because again, I push those guys. Really good coilover system. I've been using it for 5 years now. They do grip and drift pretty well. You want to get a good seat. Engine, don't really mess with the engine too much when you're first starting out. You don't need a ton of power and everything, because number one, you don't have the skills. So you leave the engine alone. Make sure the engine runs. You got good oil in it, no leaks, spark plugs, things like that, engine mounts, bushings and stuff like that is good to go. As far as footwork, you want to make sure everything is as tight as possible in regards to, like, saying like your ball joints. For example, a lot of people never had a worn ball joint in their hand. And a lot of guys have never played with a new ball joint. So if you have an old ball joint, you can wiggle all around left and right, in and out, actual radio play. So you got a new ball joint, you got to actually you got to try to push it because it's a good tight fit. The socket it's pretty much like you have your ball joint right here is the ball. This is like the cup that the ball joint is pressed into, so it goes around it. And then if you can see my fist right there, it rotates around like this. It just rotates around. So what happens after a while, that grease wears off and then it becomes metal-to-metal contact. Then what happens, the ball stays the same, but the cup is kind of, see on my hand right here, the cup gets a little bit bigger. So what happens now that there's like my hand's not touching that ball joint now, it moves around. So imagine if I squeeze my fist like a new ball joint now, it's stiff and it's hard. It's hard to move my fist around. So that's how a ball joint works. A ball joint works just like your shoulder right here is pretty much a ball joint. The thing right here connects to there. You got your socket. You rotate it around. That's a ball joint. Your hip, same thing, ball joint. So it pretty much is made like that. So anyway, a lot of you have steering vibrations, you have delayed steering and things like that because ball joints are loose. Those guys who have electronic steering racks are kind of cool, but still you have tie rod ends. So you don't make sure that stuff is good to go right there. So make sure your car is mechanically sound from the front to the back. You don't have to have the perfect car, and you want to actually get a car that you don't starting out. Borrow somebody's car. See how that you don't want to build this car, get into it, and then quit. And I see it happen a lot. Most guys quit after they crash the first time because they realize this is not for them. They don't have the heart to rebuild from that. And also, they don't have the heart to continue after that crash because it's kind of traumatic. You'll see myself and many other vet drifters will sometimes run on track, run into a tire barrier, get back on track, shake the wheel real quick, shake whatever off, maybe it's falling off or whatever. And you nail it the next time around. And the inspector is like, oh, shit, this guy just crashed and he's back in it. Like, that's heart. So drifting takes heart. So kind of moving further back, you want to have a welded diff or welded diff 1.5 or 2-way. People talk shit about welded, but it's a great way to get started and it's a great way to get you out of Poorsville. It's not the best, depending on who you talk to, but there's different. You look up, engineering explain to see how differentials work. Differentials, a differential differentiates power to different wheels based on if it's open helical, different styles like that, things like that, torsion or whatever. So like, for example, VLSD is a fluid operated clutch packed disc type operating differential. So when the fluid is like actually spinning a centrifugal force, those discs lock up and it pushes things out and locks the wheel. But when you're normal driving, one wheel is getting powered over wheels. So it's kind of like a modified open. Open is just whatever wheel that has grip is transmitting. Has the most grip is transmitting the most power. So when you do like a guy with a burnout with a V6 Mustang, they leave that one wheel pillar, we call it. That means like whatever one, if the car is loaded up on this side, maybe it's in a street ditch this side, loaded up this side. Whatever one has the most traction is going to get the most power while the other one's going to move along. Every once in a while, you'll get a situation where they're both kind of lock up, but it depends on how the car is leaning and stuff like that. So you have different ones where they're kind of like partially unlocked, partially locked. But for drifting, you want something that's fully locked, or one way, not so much, but you want a 1.5 way, which unlocks and locks on deceleration and acceleration, things like that. I'm not gonna get into it because there's many other guys that have time to explain it who already have done it. I know how it works. So look up differentials, how differentials work and things like that, so you can get into it for yourself. Read for your understanding and everything, because I kind of talk a little bit too quick and everything, because it's like 11 o'clock and I got a lot of stuff to do out there. And I got some customers coming in too. So differential, you want the differential lock. Rear subframe, you don't got to really plan to that. So this is just getting started. Once you get advanced, you can add more stuff to it and everything and stuff like that. So a drift car is very, very basic to get started, very, very basic to get going. You don't need a ton of stuff. You just need, again, heart. You need a decent chassis, decent car. And if you can get somebody who knows what they're doing and a good teacher, you can teach things out there too. But again, it's one of those things where you can learn on your own. You can take cones out there, do things, and get things done. So it doesn't take a ton of money to get started. And it's better to do that first before you get in well invested into it, too deep into it, and then you quit, because now trying to sell a drift car as well, unless it's like an FD machine or something like that has like winds on it and stuff like that, you're going to be hard pressed to sell a drift car, because people just already assume that the car has been beat to shit and it's not been taken care of, because it's just like the adage, and that's just like or that's around drifters, which is the reason why I have to personally get more drip stuff out there, because people just assume by default that I'm a drift shop. When you see a lot of the cars here, Some of them are drift, spec-ish. Well, no, drift spec-ish, and then most of them are grip style. But people just assume, oh, he's a drifter. And again, that's a bad misnomer, and one I immediately dispel out there, so people don't try to classify me or group me within a certain group of people. I can do multiple different things. I mean, for case in point, I'm building some rally cars and everything that people don't know about. So I'm gonna get into that, get different customers out there, and do different things and stuff like that out there. So again, I hit my topics and everything. I hope this kept like I said, I've been crossing them off and everything. You guys can see right here. So yeah, man, I hope this thing right here helps. I'm pretty sure I'll see from the feedback out there for you guys who watched it. If you think the list style, because I keep stuff in my head and try to ramble, and then I try to remember. But having this right here to keep myself on track, I don't see it as being like scripted, because it's not. I just wrote them down. I wrote these down just as I sat down, the things I wanted to kind of talk about and everything. So I hope this helps keep things on task a little bit more. Again, send those questions to podcast@pinkustyle.com. If you would like to be a guest on the podcast, go ahead and send your information about you, what you do, what you're into. Podcast@pinkustyle.com. If you watch this, I want to talk to you, man. You know what I mean? You're doing some cool stuff or whatever out there. Everybody's doing some cool things out there. So if you want to be a guest on here, podcast@pinkustyle.com, I'll put it in order, determine when I can fit it in, when I can get it in, and things like that, depending on topics I want to hit, and I'll get with you and everything. So again, guys, thank you for tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share if you would like to. Just again, be safe out there with the pandemic stuff still in process. I don't know what's going on. I don't follow it too much. My family's safe. My extended family's safe and everything. And that's all, again, I can control and worry about. So I just keep it that way. So again, thank you guys for tuning in. It's going to be Don signing off from South Japan, Pinku style. Peace.